passed around or traded to 6 or more readers. It's an industry employing 1,000+ writers, artists, editors, letterers, and assorted spear carriers, men and women, white and Negro, and what have you. It's a form of storytelling that arrays newsstands with superhero fantasy and talking ducks, though those are outnumbered of late by monsters both supernatural and human, as well as cowboys and Indians, romance and war, and science fiction, even adaptations of classic literature. Turn to page 345 in Great Expectations, class. Timmy, that's page 16 in your classic comics. The chief audience is kids, but grown-ups indulge too, especially veterans who learned to read portable funny books bought at the PX in the Second World War and more recently Korea. Me, I work in that industry, albeit on the fringes. My name is Jack Starr, and I'm the vice president of the Starr Syndicate, where that more respectable brand of comics is sold to newspapers nationwide, the comic strip. As it happens, Starr is, of the various syndicates, the one most closely aligned with the comic book industry. I'll tell you more about that in the pages to come, and about myself and my interesting boss, Maggie Starr, who happens to be my stepmother, as well as the world's second most famous striptease artist, after Gypsy Rose Lee, retired. What's important for you to keep in mind is how big, how popular the comic book industry is right now, and how everybody and your Uncle Charlie wants to kill it. What the hell? Every murder mystery needs a victim. Chapter 1. Nothing funny about funny books. Speaking of live television, I had a stake in a local show on WNBC, the Barré Soirée. Not that Steve Allan or even Howdy Doody had much to worry about, but the show, airing 10:30 p.m. Monday nights after the nationally aired Robert Montgomery Presents, was popular enough. Harry Barré was a chatty disc jockey who made a mark doing on-air interviews with recording stars between platter spins. His NBT-FM radio show, Sway with Barré, had a decent following among borough-bound housewives taking a mid-afternoon beer or gin break. Barré was alternately obnoxious and fawning. He was sort of Arthur Godfrey, without the ukulele, or the talent, and being even vaguely in business with this guy did nothing for my digestion. Here's the thing. The Barré Soirée was what they called a remote, a show broadcast not from a studio, but a location. And Barré's weekly location was a big cushy corner booth of a popular Manhattan restaurant, the Strip Joint, just a block and a half off Broadway on 42nd Street. The bar took up the front third of the long, narrow space, with its tan plaster walls with dark wood trim and glass and chrome. This fed into the restaurant itself, tables and new comfy tufted booths, replacing the original wooden ones. Maggie Starr and I owned the Strip Joint, and that was really just an afterthought. We owned the whole building, 6 stories, otherwise devoted to the Starr Newspaper Syndication Company, a couple floors of which were my quarters and Maggie's, hers on the 5th, mine on the 3rd. A Chinese restaurant used to take up the main floor, but after Maggie found a fingernail in an egg roll, we reluctantly went into the restaurant business, more for her own dining convenience than an actual investment. But the Strip Joint stayed solidly in the black, year after year, thanks to the chef Maggie imported from St. Louis and the simple, high-quality fare. Best New York strip steak in, well, New York. The venue also benefited from a waitstaff consisting of gorgeous striptease artistes, either between gigs or recently retired, a battalion of pulchritude in black tie, white shirt, and tuxedo pants. Of course, more revealing looks at the lasses could be found in the bar area, where signed photos hung, usually as crooked as the leers of the male patrons studying them. Elsewhere in the joint, comic strip characters rode the walls, courtesy of big-name cartoonists, encouraged by their usually absent hostess to contribute to the comic strip ambience. Mostly Star Syndicate stuff like Wonder Guy, Batwing, and Mug O'Malley, but also Dick Tracy, Little Orphan Annie, and Alley-Oop. Mostly these were grease pencil drawings done right on the plaster, but the back wall had framed original comic strip artwork. The stripping theme, both burlesque and funny page, had come to attract 2 very different crowds, a luncheon 2 martini.